Hey guys, welcome back to another two-gun match on Forgotten Weapons. I am today running the same kit that I did the last time I did one of these matches, namely the Tokarev pistol and M39 Mosin that I am planning to take to Finland for Finnish Brutality with Carl on in-range. So, this particular match had a very small number of attendees, because if I remember correctly, it was the day after Christmas, and so our sadistic match director decided to combine 4 stages into two very long stages. So each one is both rifle and pistol. And, well, here we go. Par time for these is 240 seconds each, or 4 minutes. First thing I have to do on stage 1 is run out and get the 60-pound kettlebell, or 65. I think it was a 60-pound kettlebell. I have to have the rifle with me at all times, bring the kettlebell back. This first part of the stage here is all pistol shooting, but like I said, you have to carry your rifle with you. So at this point, I'll go ahead and sling it, bust out the Tokarev, get it loaded. That's kind of a lengthy process. And then you have to first engage this plate rack from this white barrel. I'm starting to have a few malfunctions with the Tokarev because, frankly, it's getting dirty and I need to clean it. The slide is just sticking a bit. Not a problem with the ammo, not really a problem with the pistol, just a matter of preventative maintenance that I need to take better care of. Anyway, once you do that plate rack, you take the kettlebell over and do the next plate rack. This actually goes very well, 6 for 6 there. I'm proactively changing mags between each position because, well, the third position here in the middle is the spinner, which is going to be awful. I wasn't sure exactly how the spinner would react to 7.62 Tokarev. I was also the first shooter on this stage. First thing in the morning, it was fairly cold out, and the spinner is pretty sluggish there. So I get a little bit of movement with it on my first magazine. I only brought 4 magazines with me on the stage. This is now my last one, and I get a little more tenacious of malfunction there. And at this point, I decide it ain't going to happen. There's no way I'm going to clear that spinner with the remaining 1 magazine, so I will just give up, take the 60-second penalty for not getting it, and move on to the second half of the stage. Of course, before you can do that, you have to go put the kettlebell back. That, as a logistical thing, that makes this stage self-resetting, other than the plate racks there. So anyway, I have returned the kettlebell to its home barrel, and now I run up to the next bag. The 180-degree rule does not apply to the rifle until I load it, because the rifle was checked and confirmed unloaded at the beginning of the stage. Now, we have 5 little barrel towers here, 5 paper targets, and the second half of the stage here, you have to hit put 1 round around the left and 1 round around the right of each set of barrels. And your left-hand shooting has to be from the left side, your left shoulder, and the right side shooting has to be from the right shoulder. So we're going to go back and forth. You have to end up with 2 hits on each paper target, which is a secondary challenge of this stage. By the way, here, I actually fire both of my rounds left-handed, but I didn't even notice it at the time, and the RO didn't catch it either, so I didn't end up with a penalty there. Anyway, the secondary challenge of this stage is that you have to be able to keep track of which targets you've already fired on and make sure that you put 2 rounds on each one. It's very easy to end up with 4 shots on one target and 0 shots on another target, and that, of course, gives you 2 misses penalties. The stage designer's intention was that you would zigzag between the barrels, but he didn't specify that, and I figured it would actually be a little bit more efficient to go down one side and then back up the other. So, there we go. 1 stage down.
Brisk.
Now, stage 2, again, a double-length stage. You start uprange. Once again, we have pistol first, followed by a much longer range rifle section. And once again, you have to go grab a 60-pound kettlebell, bring it with you for the pistol section of the stage. The deal here is you have to bring the kettlebell with you, but you don't have to actually hold it while firing. And from each of the 5 cones, you have to hit that steel target twice. So I put the kettlebell down at first because I knew it would take 2 hands to unholster the Tokarev and chamber the first round. But once I've got the thing in my hand, I'm just going to keep the kettlebell elevated and do my shooting one-handed. So this actually goes pretty well. The Tokarev is a nice pistol. I am once again shooting it with 7.63mm Mauser ammunition instead of full power Tokarev, mostly because I had good commercial 7.63 Mauser that was non-corrosive, and I'd rather use that than corrosive Tokarev ammo. I go ahead and drop the kettlebell here because I have to reload, and also because once I fire my last shots, I have to unload the pistol and show it clear and reholster it, and I'm going to need 2 hands to do that as well, so I'll need to drop the kettlebell regardless. So pistol is unloaded, holster. Now I can once again return the kettlebell to its home barrel. And then we move on to the rifle section, which is really a doozy on this stage. There are 2 half-size silhouettes at 100 yards and 3 half-size silhouettes. One, I believe, is actually a half-size Q target that's a little bit smaller at 200 yards. There are 3 positions. You have to hit all 5 targets from this little rock next to the cone. I'm going to use my hat to cushion the rifle. Kind of a Simo Haya call out there. He apparently tended to use his gloves as a de facto rifle rest. Very cool here. Oh, I actually killed that target and managed to hit it right in the bolt, and it falls down. Had I been able to finish the stage, spoiler alert, I would not have had to actually hit that target for the rest of the positions. Anyway, you really can't see the 3 targets on the back there. They're very difficult to see. Even the guys here who were shooting with optical sights were having a really hard time making out those targets. At 2-gun, we make a very deliberate point not to paint targets. Yeah, I'm getting better with these stripper clip loads, but they're still not great, and I run into some trouble here. Anyway, we don't paint targets, so they tend to blend into the background, and a half silhouette at 200 yards through open sights that's the same color as its backdrop is tricky to see. But I actually do manage eventually to clear all 5 targets. Now the intention is, after you clear all 5 from the rock, you then move to the next position, this one, which is a tank trap, sort of tank trap made out of 4x4s. You clear all 5 from here, and then you move to the 3rd position, which is a VTAC barricade. Clear all 5 through your choice of anything utilizing the VTAC. By the way, in a moment of stress confusion here, I actually completely forgot that I had knocked that second short-range target off the stand, and I go ahead and continue firing at it until they yell at me a couple times. Anyway, you clear this, then all 5 from the VTAC, and then there is a rifle spinner to end the stage. Very few people managed to actually clear all of it, including a spinner. This was difficult and time-consuming, and I don't manage to. I'm just about to run out of time here, unfortunately. I think I get one of the 300-yard targets, and that actually puts me in pretty good position compared to all the other shooters, even though I was shooting an iron-sighted bolt-action Mosin, and everybody else here had at least a semi-auto, and virtually everyone had an optically sighted semi-auto, many of them with magnified optics. So now, after I only get to this point and run out of time. However, I am curious about trying the spinner anyway, and so I went ahead and gave it a shot, so to speak. The spinner's at 100 yards, and I'm only going to put 1 stripper clip. I can't spin it with that, and I'll just give up. But as you can see, 1 hit with 182 grain 62x54R does a pretty thorough job moving that spinner. My second shot is not so great. And my 3rd shot, I actually managed to hit the spinner going the wrong direction, I think you did. That's one of the challenges of a 100-yard spinner, is it can actually be really deceptive which direction it's spinning. And you always want to shoot it when it's moving away from you. So 4th shot gets it going again, and 5th shot spins it over. So had I placed the shots better, 2 shots would have been enough to get that over. And that makes me happy, because I'm pretty sure we're going to have a spinner for Finnish Brutality. Now, it was pointed out to me by the match director that because the target, my long-range target, fell off the stand, I was actually entitled to a reshoot because of a stage malfunction. I figured, why not? I'll go ahead and reshoot it. Not so much because I think I'm going to get a better time, because I certainly don't think I'm going to be able to clear it even on a second try, but I'm doing this primarily as practice for Finnish Brutality. So if I have the opportunity to give it another practice run and get some more trigger time in, even if it means having to carry this awful kettlebell around again. It's worth doing. So we'll go through this whole process again, lugging the kettlebell around. My pistol shooting suffered a bit this second time. In particular at this cone. It took me like 6 shots to get my 2 hits, which it shouldn't. That does mean I will have to reload earlier. In fact, I'll have to reload right now because the pistol has locked itself open.
Not good.
I only brought 2 pistol magazines on this stage, wanting to leave my pockets open for more clips of 54 rimmed. So I figure I'm more likely to need them. So I take my time a little bit, get better sight pictures. The RO there helpfully picked up my extra mag, but I'm able to clear out the rest of the pistol shooting without too much difficulty here. I'm sure it looks like I'm moving pretty slow. I tell you what, a 60-pound kettlebell is pretty obnoxiously heavy when you're trying to move and perform manipulation on a pistol and hitting. It's not a tiny target, but it's a reasonable target at a reasonable distance, and that's not trivial when you're lugging around a really big, heavy chunk of steel. So, on to the rifle section once again. Let's see if I can get through this without the same difficulty with my stripper clips. That would be a no. If you don't line it up just right, the Mosin interrupter system is not all that forgiving. But I do manage to get them all jammed down in there, and so now we can get on with the shooting.
Impact.
It is always nice to start with a good hit, and man, you can certainly take hits with. There we go, with this rifle. This all felt slower when I was doing it than I think it actually turned out to be on camera. But once again, it's the 200-yard targets that are really going to kill me here. Nope, still missing. Like I said, even the guys with magnified optics were complaining about having difficulty seeing these targets. So I feel pretty good that I managed to at least mostly keep up here with the Mosin.
These are like the worst stripper clips ever.
There we go. That's, for a Mosin stripper clip load, that's pretty decent. But I'm still missing. There we go. I think that was a hit. Anyway, we are rapidly approaching the... There we go. That was a hit. Sorry. We are rapidly approaching the end of my 240-second par time. Long stages like this are really interesting. They're kind of a killer when you're used to 120 and 180-second par times. To have 240 and need just about all of it is a whole new experience. Overall, I actually did remarkably well. I was really surprised by this. If I had not taken a reshoot, I would have ended up 11th out of 18 shooters. Using the score from my reshoot, which was 4 hits less, 40 seconds greater in penalties, I ended up 17th out of 18 shooters. However, still, first place in manual division because I was the only person shooting manual division. So that's all I got for you. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching this awful set of stages. We'll just finish up with a little brief chat about Mosin stripper clips. Thanks for watching.
What's the deal with the stripper clips?
They suck. So the way that I have to do this, or the best way I found to do it, is you put the clip in, and I honestly don't know if it's better to do that side down or this side, but you put the clip in, and then you hook your finger under the bullet and push down on the middle of the case. Once you get like 2 of them in, then you can just kind of jam them down, and it pretty much works. But it is a miserable, miserable process.